Hey, leader Dorset Spur back. I'm a bit late. I've got to be honest. I'm a bit late. You know why? Because I've been eating cheese on toast, and I couldn't subject you to watching me eat cheese on toast whilst I'm going live. So apologies for being 4 minutes late. Come on, it's only 4 minutes. Don't kill me off just for 4 minutes. Anyway, welcome back to the show. As you can see tonight, it's a little bit of a small show today because we've been let down by Sweary Alex, who decided it'd be much more important to do some work today, which makes a change for him, to be fair, because he don't normally do any work. He's normally skiving off doing nothing. And of course, Mason's in love, bless him, and it's
Oh,
his 6 year anniversary. Did you know that? 6 years him and his girlfriend been together. I can't believe she put up with him for that long. But listen, it is what it is. Fair play to her. I'm sure she'll get her medal at some point to say well done to you. A little bit of a diminished show tonight, but I have got with me the main man, Dino. How you doing, Dean? Good to see you,
yeah,
buddy.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Not, it was always going to be the late show, wasn't it? You know
Always,
what it's
always.
like.
Yeah. We're always waiting for them too, anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but today you're kind of waiting for me. But he literally only just told me he's not coming on because he's got work to do. Work, cheeky bugger. Anyway, first things first. Before I do anything, I just got to say, evening to Dave. Hello, mate. Good to have you. Thanks for coming, and to Mr. Fox, my man in the transfer window. He seems to know everything. So good to have you. Good to have you guys watching. If you're already watching, let us drop some comments into the comment section. Let us know you're there. It'd be good to know that there is some people watching us and chatting away. So listen, like I said, I try to keep this really, really informal, just chatting, just you and me chatting. But of course, before we talk about some negatives, we have to talk about the positive. We have to talk about the positive thing, don't we? 2-0 against City. Are you having that?
You know what? Of all the teams we play, when we play City, I do always expect a win. Right? We are their bogey team, without a doubt. And I mean, when Sun left, Pep said we might even have a chance of winning. Right? We may, and still, with Sonny, we still done them. Um, it's just good. It kind of shows where we are, but not, if you know what I mean, because we do beat them all the time. It's
Yeah.
it, it's like the deck he had, that people would call it, and like I like it. I like the way we're playing at the moment. Um, the difference between Ange and Thomas Frank is ridiculous. It really
Yeah.
is. You watch him; he's so animated on the touchline,
Yeah.
constantly giving orders. And if he's not giving them, then Matty Wells is giving them. And if
Yeah.
he's not giving them, then somebody else is giving them. They're all taking part. It's almost like I don't know if you watch much of American football. It's like that. It's almost like special teams. Um, then you've got offense, defense, the punt team. They're all doing their separate bits. So once it comes like the transition happens and they go into like defense, they go, right, that's down to you. Sort that out. That's down to you. Sort that out. Get your information across. It is so good.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. To be honest with you, I hadn't thought about it with the American football analogy, but you're right. When you think about it, Matty Wells, he's there. He's there to look after the defensive side of things, right? So that's his kind of bag and so on. So it's good to see him kind of getting involved in that. And defensively, we look so solid as well, right? But like you say, the difference between Ange and Thomas Frank is it's like day and night. In terms of bear in mind, and I know, I guess we have to kind of say the team, whilst it's the same team from last year, Ange didn't have that team all the time. The time that he had them was very limited because of injuries and so on. And the times he was able to kind of get those guys working together and training and all the rest of it. That's another one that's quite difficult. So it is a bit unfair to say it's the same team, but what Frank is getting out of him in terms of being organised is unbelievable. I mean, defensively, I be honest with you, I didn't even feel like they had an opportunity to score. Although they had opportunities to score, but it didn't even. I wasn't even concerned about it, if I'm honest. Was you? How did you feel about the defensive work?
Yeah, because we're not playing like the five at the back or the three, or just leaving Romero and hoping Van der Ven will get back. And it's so different now because he is putting maybe like depending on who we're playing, it will change the team and use it that way. So we might have four at the back, we might have three at the back, we might have five, we might have five across the midfield. But it's the press as well. You know, the press from the front players is helping the defence
Yeah,
because if they can't get out, the defence has an easier time and they push up a little bit. So yeah, it works really, really well. But let's put a caveat on it. 2 games in. Well, let's say 3 games in. For the sake of like 5 or 7 minutes with the PSG game, would have walked away with a trophy, right? And everybody going,
yeah,
wow, Tottenham's turned around. But first 10 games under Ange, we were mustard,
yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
mustard. Um, it's only when we lost heads against Chelsea. As long as we can keep that out of a game, Romero seems a different person, right?
yeah,
He used to flying all the time, and you know, yellow cards and all the rest of it. But the other thing is, you look at our bench. All right, they keep going. Well, we haven't put this player in. We haven't got that. Why didn't we get Eze? Why didn't we get Morgan Gibbs White? I know that we'll talk about that. But you then look at our bench. It's still a bloody good bench. Yeah, with still
yeah.
players to come back. So it's all looking rosy. But if you had another couple of signings, then I think we'll be in a really, really good place.
Yeah, no, again, I agree. I just, I was really, to be fair, just picking up on your point about Romero, I think he was unlucky to get a yellow card recently. I didn't think it was a yellow card offence, but his actual record of um, cards and sending offs that has actually really improved. He's a bit of a, and it's one of those things you look back and he was a lot more rash and stuff further back than he's been of late. He's kind of really turned that around. But I think the taking on the role of captain, I think has really made a difference to him. And like you say, I think if you look at the overall team, because we're pressing so high, and I know Ange wanted to do that as well, right? But he was pressing so high, but he was pressing so high with the defence as well. Whereas we're pressing high from midfield onwards, but that defence isn't doing those recovery runs, the Van der Ven, 50-yard sprint, sliding tackle, or whatever, and that's kind of giving them that breather not to have to kind of do that work all the time, which I think is really, really good. And like you say, even when you look at the bench, it didn't feel so bad. Like there's been times under Ange where we just got a load of kids on there, but now you feel like there's a couple of additions in there that can kind of make the difference. Bearing in mind, we were able to bring on Odebear, for instance, and I know not everyone likes Odebear or thinks he's that good. Same with Tell or whatever, but they are Premier League players. These are players that are already in the first team, and with the work that Graham Bergvall did last season, has got to put them into good stead, right? So, I was pleasantly surprised, man. The thing that did shock me, though, if I'm honest, I thought he'd go with a PSG lineup. Did you did you think that? I was a little bit surprised that he didn't do that.
Yeah, but again, you go back to Thomas Frank. He's now going, I can see what you do, but you're up against like Haaland. I can see what you do. You're up against um, whoever, right? So he puts a player that thinks they will do the job against the other player, and then the front two, three, however he plays them, doesn't matter because they'll just go forward and hopefully score the goals. Yeah, I just think it's a breath of fresh air. But again, the caveat, first 10 games we were brilliant.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I like what I've seen so far. He's not like he's very pragmatic. So if he sees something that needs to change, he'll go, well, hang on a minute. Yeah, let's change that formation. Right, you need to drop back. You need to go into the middle more. Let's put 2 on 2. And it was absolutely brilliant to watch because you could physically see what he was doing. when you watch, I don't want to like diss Ange out because I like Ange, I really do.
Yeah.
He just lost the plot a little bit in the league, but then decided to concentrate on like the cup, which as it worked, it bore fruit. So if you look at the two of them together, he will change things. He'll go, right, I don't like that, so let's move that across, and this is what I want, and we progress. So not only does it make it not better for us as fans to see, but it also makes it better for the players to not have to do like 50, 60-yard runs, do a sliding tackle, bash, there goes your bloody hamstring. We don't
Yeah.
want that now. We want, let's come back. We're hunting packs. We'll come back as a pack, you know. You saw the amount of pressing we did. It was like one or two, and three wrapped round it, stole the ball back, and we was back up the other end. It makes life so much easier when you're on the front foot rather than sort of on the back foot, like trying to sort of chase the game.
I'm with you, right? I had a lot of respect for Ange, and I know there's fans that really, really disliked it, disliked the football and all the rest of it. And I absolutely get that. I mean, it was demoralising losing every week, but I did feel early on in the piece that there was mitigating circumstances and problems and blah blah blah, and I kind of got all that. So I'm a little bit more of a level-headed type of fan. I try to be anyway. So I kind of got, and I don't want to disrespect Ange because I think without Ange, we probably wouldn't be in the position that we are now. And I wish him all the best. But with hindsight, it probably was the right thing for him to do, for him to go on a high and start again. The difficulty is obviously the uncertainty with Frank. That's what I was worried about because even if I was worried about maybe losing games or whatever, I was also worried about whether the football would be entertaining enough. Is after seeing those first 10 games with Ange, where we were like all over everybody, scoring for fun and stuff. I loved that. I've got to be. I really loved it, and of course, when it all falls apart spectacularly, that's the difficult bit. But what I didn't want is I didn't want to go back to the Conte, you know, dross that we watched. And again, I've got a lot of respect for Conte as well as a manager, but that football was difficult to watch at times. But this wasn't boring at all. I felt that we were on the front foot when we needed to be, and we were defensive when we needed to be. And I thought he just got that balance really, really right.
Yeah, sorry, I lost you there, mate. Your balance is really right, so I guess you must have asked me a question. But yeah, I do agree with that. It's the midfield as well. They've all started. Everybody sort of like started playing their A game. Like Pap is like brilliant. Richarlison, I don't know where this Richarlison has been. Right,
No,
because he's making the tackles, he's breaking up play, and that's not him. He'll normally jog about and bit of shithousery, get us up the pitch, and then maybe getting a free kick and all the rest. But now he's not. He's going, well, I can play. Look at me. This is what I can do. And we all know World Cup year, right? So he wants to be in that. He
yeah,
does. But at the same time, he's playing with a smile on his face. We know, we know the problems he had, the mental health and all the rest of it. But now he seems like a happier player. And it can't be just, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks with a new manager has changed him that much. But that's what it looks across. Something has happened to make him a better player. Something has happened to make Pap a better player. They all seem to have upped their game. I don't know why. Why? I mean, yeah, is it because it's a World Cup year? Is it because they are happier the way they're playing? Is it because they're not having to do lung busting runs anymore? Probably. There can't be anything worse. You go to like to play football and you go, right, okay, so what I want you to do, see that tree right down there, run backwards and forwards of that like 20 times. What now? Yeah, where you go? It's like it's got to do you nothing. So
mm,
they must be working a lot more drills but keeping their fitness not to a minimum, but to be able to play the football that Frank wants them to play, rather than right, you got to go there, and then you got to run 100 meters back because you're all up there. You know.
Yeah. No, again, it's hard to disagree with anything you say, mate, because, like I say, I mean, Pap Sarr has been probably our best player since the summer. Like, he has been unbelievable. All through pre-season, he's been really consistent. The work rate that he's putting in, like, it's just been a breath of fresh air. And I think we all knew that he could do it, because I think we've seen glimpses of it last season when he was playing, and the season before. But I just feel like it's about his consistency now. Is he going to be consistent? Is he going to put that work rate in every time? The big concern again would be if we lost him. But again, coming back to Richarlison, two goals last week, and an assist this week. I thought he played really well. I thought he had a decent game. He didn't score a goal, but he put one on the plate for back post Johnson, LA, and
Yeah.
and that was great to see. I just thought it was a brilliant piece of play. It was good knock on. I think it was Pat Sarr actually knocked it onto him. Um, well onside, in my opinion, and put it on the plate. I don't think Johnson could even miss it. But that's what Johnson's good at, right? Is getting to that scoring position. He gets so much flack from people, but he's putting it on. He's putting it in the back of the net. So he's putting it in the back of the net, and all the while he's putting it in the back of the net. You can't complain of that, surely.
No, you know, I like John. I'm not his greatest fan. I'll give you that, because he always seems to like go missing. You
Mm.
think make the run, but all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, I'm going to drift in here." Ball goes to him, bangs in the back of the net. That's what he's paid to do.
Yeah,
So you can't knock that. It's just some probably you probably sort of maybe go, yeah, the work rate's not there. But maybe the work rate's not there because he needs to keep a little bit behind to go, right, I'm there gonna see you. Bye, I'm off and I'm sort of putting it in the back of the net now. A bit like Kulu. Kulu is so slow, but what a player. You
yeah,
know, I thought we were gonna really, really miss him. But so far we haven't. Um, another player I'd like to chuck in the mix is our new signing, Polenia. It's brilliant.
mm,
He really, and he's strong. I liked him at Fulham. I thought he's going to get a lot more cards and stuff, like playing for us, because he was a bit like that. But I think he's gone away, come back, and again, as when they're young and they're a bit impetuous, um, they do some stupid things. But as they grow up, they go, no, it's not what I do. One, I'm going to hurt myself or hurt somebody else, or I'm going to get so many yellow cards and I'll be off the team anyway. So, I think you grow up a little bit as you get older. Well, supposedly.
yeah. I'm still waiting for that. I'm still waiting to grow up. If
Yes.
I'm being,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, yeah. I mean, the interesting thing I find with this Johnson business, right, is that through the pre-season, um, Frank was bigging up Odebear, or the talk was that he
Yeah.
was bigging up Odebear, and thinks his quality and all the rest of it. And yet he hasn't started him, and he's stuck with Johnson. The bit for me that's missing from Johnson is the crossing, because if you
Yeah.
look now, the danger we're getting from the right hand side with Kudus, the way he puts the ball in and the way he takes players on and stuff, Johnson never did that. And if we had that balance on the other side, that would make such a difference. And that's a disappointing thing, I think, with Johnson, is that he doesn't run at people and take people on as much as I'd like him to. And that's why I think late on in the game, when he took him off and he put Odebear on, you could see that little bit of difference of him kind of really kind of pushing against the opposition, and giving them something to think about, tired legs and all the rest of it. So I think there is. I think there is opportunity for both of those players, both of those type of players, to play in games. But with him having that flexibility of being able to play Johnson as a late runner, for instance, which is what he said about him, um, as opposed to being the kind of attacking, dribbling type player, I think that's what he's kind of looking at. Looking at when to use those different tools in the box. There's no point using a spanner when you need a screwdriver, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's probably thinking about it from that point of view. It'd be really interesting to kind of have that insight, wouldn't it? I'd love to actually be a fly on the wall to listen to or to understand his thinking when he's picking the team and so on, as to what's driving his decisions in that way, and how he thinks this player is good for this and this player is good for that, and this is where he kind of works it out. It must be a real science, using the whole of the coaching team to kind of put that together.
Yeah, I think that you put Johnson on first because they know that he can put it in the back of the net.
Mm.
Not a problem at all. So if Johnson's dragging their defence all over the place. Then you stick somebody like Odebear up against them that's going to run at them. You go, fuck, hang on a minute. I've just had to deal with that idiot. Now this bloke's coming on. I've got to run all over the place. So, yeah, I get why he does it. But Odebear's numbers have got to come up a little bit more because, But again, Johnson at the beginning, couldn't hit a barn door with a brick. Then all of a sudden, bang, 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 in the goals went, won a
Yeah,
game. So he's a proven goal scorer. So once
I'm not.
Odebear gets that and Tell's got to step his game up as well. I understand where his head's at the moment because obviously he was getting all that abuse and that can't just go away. That mindset. Well, why am I playing? Why am I doing that when players are having a go at me for whatever? Fans are having a go at me for this, that, and the other. So it doesn't go away. It stays in your mind, and you look at some of the things Sonny used to do. When he was getting sort of bit maligned about, not playing well, not doing what that, and he'd put his fingers in his ear saying, "Oh, can't hear you now because I'm scoring." So it does affect him.
Yeah.
It really does. But I don't get it. I say I don't get it. I understand it because it is frustrating, right? But at the same time, um, they're our players. It shouldn't happen, and it certainly shouldn't happen. Like when to get that sort of hate, that's just irresponsible. It shouldn't be on there at any time.
No, I'm with you on that. I like the. I mean, I get criticism of players, right? Because we all criticise players who've not played well or not done what they needed to do or whatever. But the racist abuse for me is just like it's beyond the power. I just do not get that whatsoever. And to a certain extent, I think to myself, is there really people out there with that mindset, or is this just is it opposition fans? Is it bots? Is it, what, you can't believe that there are people out there that think like that and that support the team and think that that's okay, that that's the right thing to do. To make that player better, you're gonna racially abuse him. I mean, what
No,
is, where's the,
I'm with you on that. I don't think it's our. I hope it's not our fans, because you see all the ones and it's always anonymous. They've got nothing to say who they're aligned to. So I think it's probably either rival fans or just clickbaiters or whatever you want to call them. They're just twats, right?
yeah,
But when you get that as a person, you can't just knock that off and go, oh, it's going to be somebody else. But because you're still that person, it don't matter who's directing it at you. You're still that person,
yeah.
So it's crap. Anyway, so let's get away from that a little bit because it's all supposed to be up and jovial.
Yeah, no, it has been. It has to be because, like I say, let's be honest. From a footballing point of view, it was a brilliant weekend. I mean, I was at our local club. They had a family day, but they still put the football on for us. Um, so fantastic. Obviously, had a fair few Tottenham fans in the club watching, um, and to see us win like that was excellent. So I don't want to bring the whole thing down. Um, but let's talk a little bit about Paulinia as well. I know you mentioned him, but great to see him get off the mark so quickly in the season as well, wasn't it? I mean, Sarr again making that. Sarr, seeing the pass come out from the keeper, puts them under pressure. Richarlison, unfortunate for him that the keeper managed to get his hand for it and knock it out of his way. But he, did the right thing. Stepped back. Polinia smashed it in the back of the net. I mean, how good was that?
Yeah, but what you got to think of, there was three of them already up there. Going right. Let's do the press from a goal kick.
Mm.
Right. So in that respect, that's our press. So it's got to be a good thing. That's our mindset. The second they get the ball, let's get at them, rather than let's sit off, and then because we could have quite easily done that. Right, we'll take the 1-0, and we'll see it out till half time. But no, let's keep pressing. Let's keep pressing. They're here for the taking, and we could have had another one. So I like it. I like the
Yeah,
way we're playing. I think it's very, very, very good front foot mentality when we need to be, and the defence drops in. And I mean, there was one time I think everybody was in the box, to defend. So again, I like that as well.
yeah. There was a point made by Frank about the defensive block from I think it was Mickey van der Ven. Um, but everyone was just chucking themselves at the ball, getting
Yeah,
just. It seemed to me like they were desperate not to let a goal in, that they wanted that clean sheet,
yeah,
and Thomas Frank said it gave him goosebumps to see the togetherness and stuff, and it was almost as good as scoring a goal, right? Which is what the point he was making. I thought that was excellent, because at the time I was like, oh my god, um, but Vicky van der Ven coming across there, they was all like, it felt like they was all protecting each other, because there was one when Romero came right across to the left to support Spence. There was one when Porro cut across to support Romero. It was an all round team defensive, and even at corners, I thought we looked really solid. I didn't feel that before we would all be like, oh no, Vicario's going to get pushed into the goal
yeah.
and he's going to flap at it. But it's been very, very assured at them set pieces as well.
Yeah, it used to be we used to be really good at corners when Kane was about, because the amount of times that ball would come off of Kane's head, and then we'd all sort of rush out. But now sort of Richarlison is doing that, or Romero's doing that, or Van der Ven's. So they're all clearing the box, and that's something we didn't do before. Whether we didn't, no, I can't say that we didn't work on it, but the amount of times you get a corner and you go, oh, not again, and you
Mm.
would sort of go, I would be behind the hands. I can't watch, but yeah, we're clearing it now, which is good. Um, but yeah, we're doing okay at the moment. I'm always ever the optimist.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so long may it continue. Um, but yeah, we just seem to have some good players, and they are gelling now. It's just the injuries. We don't want any injuries. I think that's when it starts getting a little bit shaky. Like you say, like Paulinho, brilliant. What's a brilliant player? Strong, really, really strong. Everybody is strong in the tackle. That's something we didn't used to do. The amount of times we used to get sort of pushed off, but now we don't. I mean, Sar's like a twiglet, and how he carries on, like keep getting the ball, and like a 50-50, he'll come out on top.
Yeah, I know. And again, that just reminds me, he was really unlucky as well, because there was a cross that came in and just went above his head. The bounce took it
Yeah,
over his head, and I was like, oh my god, if that had gone in, that was three. And what a great move it was. And I'm like, mate, if we just had that, it would just seal the deal so early in the game. And you just thought, this is, we're back. But like you, we're older fans, aren't we? So we've kind of been through all this before, where you see the resurgence of the team, and I guess it's like you say, it's two league games with with an impressive display against PSG. You can't say yes, that's it, everything's rosy in the garden. You have to kind of think about it and go, well, let's see what happens. Let's see how we get on. Up next is Bournemouth, and so on. So you just have to take it one game at a time, and see where it takes us. But as you say, overall, really, really pleasing performance. There were some good individuals in there. Um, who did you have in your mind as your man of the match?
do you know what? You could have picked any one of them.
Yeah.
Really could have. You could have picked anyone. which is strange because you don't normally say that, right? Every player had a chance to say, right, yeah, I deserve that. I deserve a man of the match. And if it was given to me, you'd have gone, no, there's no way I deserve that because I wouldn't be as good. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without him. He wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to do what he was doing without him. So it's almost like a team of the match because it was us. We were so much better than City. All right, the first, let's say 25, 30 minutes, it was hard,
Mm.
but we defended well, right? And then all of a sudden we went up it, and you could see the life was just draining out of Pep's face. He went, "Oh, here we go again," and it's happened again.
Yeah.
And that's at the home of all right, not these champions, but the champions of old and the European champions. They've been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And you look at the talent they have, both on pitch and on the bench
Yeah.
against ours, and we smashed them. We really did. Everybody has said it. Even City fans. Big Steve has gone, yeah, we don't want to be playing these again. Not in a long time.
Yeah, no, it was, it's one of them, isn't it? Like I say, Dave made the comment why I asked it, who's your man of the match? Because, like you say, it was really difficult to pick anyone. I mean, even Vicario, for how dominant we were, there was a couple of really good saves from Vicario. I thought he played well when he was called upon. He did what he needed to do. Defensively, we were really, really solid. Paulinho, bossing that midfield and scoring a goal. Sarr being, after everything. Johnson scoring a goal. Richarlison is probably right up there with his stats and his running and everything. Getting an assist as well. I just didn't think that there was a player who you couldn't make an argument for. I think all of them you could have probably made an argument for and said, yeah, it should have been this one or it should have been that one or whatever. So, and like you say about the substitutes, I mean, City brought on the substitutes they brought on, and it was scary. It's like, Jesus Christ, they can bring on, Foden or Rodri, all these players, and you're like, yeah, we're going to bring on Odebear. With all due respect to Odebear, right? We're going to bring on Odebear and returning from injury Solanke. Do you know what I mean? And they can bring in all these sort of players, and it just blows my mind that the depth that they've got, and we still managed to beat them. We still did enough to beat them. We played well. We were the better team on the day, and we took away the 3 points and well deserved. So I was
It
more than
weren't that we
happy about
just
that.
it weren't that we just beat them. We beat them quite convincingly
Mm,
and kept a clean sheet. There was a couple of times they had a shot, but like I say, Vicario kept it out. They weren't um, like unbelievable worldy saves. They were saves you'd expect him to make. And that was because the defence was constantly shutting them down. The midfield was stopping the play coming through. You just, you looked at Haaland, you weren't worried. You looked at Foden. I don't know where that kid's gone because he used to be brilliant,
yeah,
but no, it just, he wasn't the player that he once was. Um, no, I thought we played so much better than I thought we was going to.
mm,
Obviously, we was at that game, the first game, Burnley, and again we played really well, and you could see
yeah,
it. But Burnley did have sort of times, but it was almost like going right. We want to sit back, let's relax a little bit, and then we'll go again. Sit back, relax, soak up the pressure, and go again. We couldn't do that before. We'd be sitting back, and you go, "Fuck it, just get out, just get out." But
yeah,
now it was like we're sitting back on our terms. You haven't pushed us back. We're sitting back to make sure that we can get out, and then we're going to counter. Again, that's how Frank works. He did it with Brentford, really really well. So I like it. I like the way we play, as long as we don't overdo the sitting back, because
yeah.
as Spurs fans, it
We
is a
don't like
nervous
it.
watch. No, I don't like
Yeah.
it much. So
No, no, I'm the same. I don't like it. I don't like it when we're under pressure because I,
yeah,
I just always worry that we're going to cave in, and maybe we won't. Maybe we've got a coach now who really knows how to sort of stop that. But like in my mind, I'm like, I've seen so many times that we've faded away, and I just don't want to see that happening again because it's just so disappointing. Um, Okay, look, I guess we've talked City to death, haven't we? You know, great result and stuff. So let's talk about some things that are probably not as great, because we're gonna have to kind of talk about the elephant in the room, which is obviously the Eze situation. Um, I really like him as a player. I think he's a really really good player and would really give us so much. But I just cannot believe that it just got so long into that. We chased and pushed for that deal, agreed to deal with him, agreed to deal with Palace and stuff, and then they just sat on it and sat on it and sat on it, citing all sorts of reasons why they needed someone to come in to replace him, which they still haven't got, and also he needed to play in the conference game. And yet, all of a sudden, after all the work's been done, the transfer work's been done, Arsenal walk in and go, actually, we'll offer exactly the same as they have, and of course, he's going to go to his boyhood club. How
Yeah,
disappointed were you with that situation? How that kind of panned out?
yeah. It all kind of like smacked to the old Willian deal, you know. Um, but it seemed worse somehow.
Yeah,
Everybody liked him, right? Whenever you saw him play, it was all, you know, like it was all sort of pointing at him, and he was sort of all looking around, going, "Yeah, I'm going to come here, I'm going to come here." And it was almost like a done deal. But the more it went on, again, you don't know who was dragging their heels. Was it Levy going, right, I want this with the add-ons. I'm not going to pay that amount of money because that's how he works. So that's how we think he's doing what he's doing.
yeah,
But is it like other people are saying that um, the Arsenal came in beforehand and said, right, we want him. Oh, no, we're not paying that. And then as they sort of kind of, well, if you want me, have me, take me. You know, you're my club. You've always been my club.
yeah,
Um, so when they came in again, you knew he was gone,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But again, so was it Levy dawdling or Lang dawdling? Was it Parish doing what he does best, again trying to get the best deal, or was it the player going, right? Sling me out there. Let's agree terms, but let's see if Arsenal come in. And if Arsenal come in, I'm going. Right?
yeah.
If Arsenal come in with the right money, I'm going. But it's all conjecture because none of us know. Right?
Yeah, that's the annoying thing, isn't it? Like, is you really don't know, and obviously Levy and the board are going to get the flack for it, right? Because they've got previous for this sort of thing, and we
many, many, many previous.
and we can still talk about the Savinia deal in a minute, but I do get the feeling, like, listening to or reading some of the stuff that's been put out by some of the in the know type people and stuff like that. There is talk about the fact that he only really really wanted to go to Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan. If the opportunity came, he was going to go to them. And I think Arsenal would have been monitoring that situation. And I think there was probably more to it than us dawdling. I think if we've offered the money and it was agreed, and we've offered him the money and it was agreed, I don't think you could do more than that, right? And I know they go, "Oh, you should have offered it earlier," but I guess that's not really how the transfer thing works, right? And at the same time as that, even after we don't know when they'd offered the money, we don't know when it had all been agreed, and we don't know how long they'd been dawdling. But I think once they realised that Arsenal may come in for him, I think they may have even walked away. So we may have actually walked away prior to them, to when it was actually announced. If I'm being honest, so I get it. Levy's going to take the flak, and quite rightly so. But I'm not sure it's as simple as he just wasn't prepared to pay him. And I think the thing that makes it worse is obviously we just had the Morgan Gibbs White scenario, which is probably what made the Eze thing worse, if you like, because we'd already done all that work with Morgan Gibbs White, and then that one falls through. And again, who takes the blame for that one? Again, is that down to Levy not doing what he's supposed to have done, or is that down to how Marinakis works and all the rest of it? We just won't know. And as David said here, maybe it's a combination. Maybe it's a combination of everything. I don't know. Probably is, to be honest. But who was you more disappointed about, the Morgan Gibbs White or Eze?
Uh, do you know now? I've said on the day, it was Eze, right? But then you sit back and you're an older person, and you reflect on stuff, and you go, if somebody said to me, right, which they're not, Lee, right? If somebody
Mm.
said to me, I'm going to give you this much money, but you've got to go and work for Arsenal, you go, oh, really? Okay, yeah, okay, and it's this much money. And then somebody else comes in and goes, then I'm going to give you exactly the same deal, a little bit more money, but you're going to go and work for Tottenham. Yeah, fuck you, but I'm off down the road, mate. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I get that. You know, it was his boyhood club. Um, there was a thing I see about Merson, that he was a Chelsea supporter,
yeah,
and has been all his life. You know, although he played for Arsenal, and then all the Arsenal fans are going, "Oh, you're no longer a legend. You know, you shouldn't be nothing to do in Arsenal. You should be anywhere near the club." Hang on a minute. Yeah, he's the reason that you are the club you are. Him
yeah,
and
yeah,
like Dixon and Adams and all them sort of players that were in around that time. So yeah, you never forget your boyhood club ever. Us as fans don't. You know, we go on and we go on. Like my old man, he was buried with his bloody scarf light on and a couple of programs in the coffin. So you know, we don't. We are Tottenham till we die and after.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I get the Eze thing. You know, if he had the chance, then he would go down. He would go to Arsenal. But I don't think it was all down to Levy. He is going to get the pelters, like you say. Same as the Morgan Gibbs White, Marianakis. I think, and this is just purely me. It's nothing to do with the channel. It's all to do with my opinion. I could be totally left field, but I think that Marianakis said there's only one person that knew that buyout clause, and Morgan, that was you. And if you don't stay in the club, then we're going to sue you for everything you've got.
Yeah,
Because
I won't
you
be.
know he's ruthless. I think that's what he. I reckon that's what he done. So
I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised at that at all, because, like you say, if the clause was supposed to have been secret,
yeah,
there's only the only people that we're going to know is Gibbs White, his agent, and the club or whatever.
yeah,
And for Tottenham to have known about it, he or his agent must have told us. And if the clause in that was this is top secret, secret
yeah,
squirrel, you can't tell anybody, and if you do, that's legal action.
yeah.
Then with his wife being pregnant and all the rest of it, you can kind of understand it. And I look at it and I think, well, you can't really blame, and this is trying to be sensible, right? You can't really blame Levy for that. In the same way, you can't really blame Levy for Eze rather going to his boyhood club rather than to us, his bitterest rivals, right? So I kind of get it. For me, I do think that Gibbs White would have probably been the better option for us. I think
Mm-hmm.
he would have probably fitted Frank's system a bit better than maybe Eze. But I would have loved to have had Eze, because I think he is a quality player, and I think he'll do really, really well at Arsenal, and that's really disappointing. I'd never want them to do very well, but I can see him being a really, really good player there for them, and that's disappointing. But I understand it, and I say with the what's his name? You just said the Chelsea boy, Merson.
Yeah,
I saw the video of him today having to come out and talk to Arsenal fans and explain that he was a Chelsea fan. He's always been a Chelsea fan, and you never change your team. I'm like, shouldn't have to do that. Beg them to still like you.
no,
Yeah, I just think that's real pathetic. The guy played for your club 40 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it is, and he done his work, he won his medals and all the rest of it. You should judge him on what he did for you. It's not like, you know, from our point of view, someone like Darren Bent who did
yeah, oh yeah,
who did fuck all for us,
yeah, and slags us off any chance he
slags off all the
gets.
time.
And Cundy.
Yeah. Well, even so, Nigel Fox has said there, what Dino says about Morgan Gibbs White is correct about the Forest CEO threatening to sue. So maybe it's not a wild idea. Maybe it is a little
Yeah.
bit more than we expected. So where are we now? So we can't get Eze, we can't get Morgan Gibbs White. We still need in my opinion. So we still need an attacking midfielder or someone around that, someone who's a bit
Yeah.
creative. We still need a replacement for Son. And so I've seen numerous names banded around and all the rest of it. How confident are you that we'll actually end up getting someone?
Not very, and we do a lastminute.com at the same time. It could turn out that it's an absolute belter.
Mm,
But everybody knows that we need players. So they're going to hold out and they're going to just ramp their price up because they know we've got to pay it. We're still at Savino. Wissa's still out there. Garnacho's still out there. So there's a few players that would come in that are Premier League proven. But at the same time, why have we got to be pushed to have a superstar when how many superstars in our time have we bought?
yeah,
Right,
I just
we've got some brilliant players in, and they turn into be absolute shit.
yeah, no,
On Dombele for
absolutely.
one.
Yeah, I was going to say him. I was just about to say the same thing. Everyone wanted Don Ballet to sign for Spurs. We were all
Yeah,
desperate for him to sign, and look how pants he ended up being.
yeah,
Same with Lo Celso. Everyone was really keen on Lo Celso signing and all the rest of it, and he didn't turn out very good. The one that does my head in that, which is the recent one, because it only goes back to last January, is Tell. Like the amount of people that are calling that guy absolute crap and rubbish, and whose idea was it to sign him and blah blah blah. I can recall during the January transfer window, everyone going mad about signing this prospect,
yeah,
this fantastic player, and blah blah blah. And if he went to Man United, it'll be a travesty. Levy just pay the money and all the rest of it. Now these same people are calling him out and saying that he's absolute rubbish. So I'm not keen on all of that. I just want the if we get strength in the positions that we need, then I'm happy as long as Thomas Frank is happy. So, like, what really frustrates me is all this talk about players that we're never going to get. So, there's one called Nico Paz, right? Now, I don't know anything about Nico Paz, right? But apparently he's really good and blah, blah, blah. But he was never going to come to us, right?
never
Because
ever,
he's got
mate.
10 million pound, 10 million euro, maybe pounds, buyback clause with Real Madrid,
Yeah,
and he wants to go to Real Madrid. So why are people even talking about that? And this other guy, this defender, I don't know how you say his name, Hinchipi or Hinchepe or
yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
is. He's another
He could
one.
go to Arsenal.
Yeah, they're saying that Arsenal are going to have him, and actually we're not even in for him. He's a centre back, and we're quite stacked in that position. To be fair, if you keep Vuskovic and you've got the Japanese lad gets over his plantar fasciitis, then
Yeah,
you're pretty stacked in that area. So I'm not really sure on that. When we've got more important areas to cut to cover, the ones that feel a bit more realistic is El Canus, the one from Leicester. I keep
Leicester,
hearing
why not?
about him. I know, but again, from a fan's point of view, it'll be rather relegated team, cheap option, blah blah blah. Levy, you're just crap. But if he's good enough and if he's the right sort of player, then okay, I'll take you need to strengthen because we've got Champions League football, and unfortunately, Sarr and Polina and Bentancur and all these players, they're not going to be able to play every game. So
No.
you've got to have other options in there. So, like you say, Garnacho. I liked Garnacho. I thought he was really good. We talked about him last week. But with Frank having a no dickheads policy, if he is a
Yeah.
dickhead, then he ain't gonna come. But the other one I keep hearing about as well, who keeps kind of creeping in, is Mainu, who I actually quite liked. I thought he was decent. But he's not getting a run of games with Man United. So, maybe someone like him, because I'm not sure we need a superstar creative midfielder. I think we need midfielders who have creativity, if you know what I mean. I don't
Yeah.
think you need an out and out football genius who can do this, that, and the other, because you've still got Kulu and you've still got Madison, and Bergvall to a certain extent can do a lot of that sort of stuff. And the way the midfield works is so workmanlike and structured that I'm not sure you need someone for creativity's sake, if you know what I mean. You need someone who's going to work hard and do the right things. So
Yeah, I without a doubt. I mean, you had Madison coming back, right? Obviously, that's not until next year, next season now, I should think, depending on how well he does. But in the middle, you still got Bentancur. He plays really well. You've got Bergvall, who plays really well. So we've got players in all the positions we need to have them. So if you then bring in a superstar, how are they going to get back in the team? How are they going to then feel and go, hang on a minute, you know, I've played my heart out for you, and then you brought in this kid. But like you say, we have got all the cups still to play in, and Champions League. I think we've got to look at the homegrown stuff as well. So I would be looking at that more than anything else. So right, let's get in some players that are homegrown, so we can put them in our Champions League squad. We can put them in, you know, as a proper squad player, because he's gonna have to rotate. He really is, because there's no way that we can play, especially around Christmas time, which is going to be fast approaching. We ain't gonna have the players, and that's when all the wheels fall off. But if we've got backup, then we're going to be okay.
yeah, I mean, don't forget, there's still players that we've got to get out. I mean, Dave makes a point. Dave makes a point here about Bissouma. You know, seems to have kind of fallen out with Frank or whatever. I know he's got a bad rep anyway, but maybe we've got to get some players out as well in this window. So, you know, maybe there's a lot more to be done kind of later on. The other one I just wanted to mention was Paqueta from West Ham. I don't see a world where West Ham would sell us another one of their decent players. But again, you know, Premier League proven, decent player. You know, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind taking him, to be honest with you. But again,
I'm not. I must admit, I am not a fan of his. I can't stand him. I really can't. But again, if he does the job, he does the job. If you're going to take anybody, right? If you're going to take anybody from West Ham, it's going to be Bowen.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen, though,
if
is
you
it?
could have them, I get that, because obviously Bowen's not going to don't want to go. He loves that club. Obviously, he's got the Danny Dyer and the Danny Dyer connection, and that he loves that club, and it would break his heart to see fucking his son-in-law go to Spurs. But West Ham are shit. They're in a whole heap of trouble, right? They are worse than us, like from on last year. So why not? Why not make a cheeky bid? They need the money. They really do need the money, but you're gonna have to make it early. Otherwise, end of the season, who West Ham going to bring in, and who's going to want to go to West Ham?
Yeah, well, this is the trouble. As I say, the only thing that was mentioned, and I'll just put this up here as well. Bis plus cash for Paqueta, right? Is that Bissouma did play for Potter at Brighton? That's where he did his best football. So. You know, maybe there's an opportunity for him to resurrect his career, because it looks like it's going down the pan very quickly at the moment from a position of Tottenham. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see. So, but yeah, as we've kind of been going, there's been a few questions that I haven't kind of answered at the time, or comments and that. But I thought I'd leave them till the end, and I can kind of pull them up. We have got someone here. I don't know how you say that, yeah, or whatever. He's obviously an Arsenal fan, because he said that in the chat, and he said, "Do you think Arsenal will beat Liverpool?" And to be honest with you, my answer to that is I've got to really give a shit. To be honest, I'm not really bothered. I'm not really bothered whether they do or whether they don't. Dean, any comment on that? Do you care one way or the other?
No, well, I'd like a draw, to be honest. But I've got the Liverpool Newcastle game on, and I think Newcastle are down to 10, and it's 2-1 Liverpool, and they're lucky they beat 2-1 Liverpool. So the way Arsenal playing, and as much as I fucking hate them, right? They play good football, but they can be found out. I think their biggest problem is at the back, right? If Saliba's okay, and Gabriel's okay. They're okay. They've just got a few places where they if they had the extra players, like I say, you got Eze in there now. If they pick up another couple of players, they will win the league, right? But it's Arteta's managerial nous or tactics sometimes lets Arsenal themselves down. But the only problem you've got now is Saka's out. I think it's 4 weeks, so that's going to be tough because they're quite toothless up front. And although they scored 5 goals, and also
Odegaard, didn't he get injured?
Odegaard done his shoulder, but I don't know how bad that is because he played on for quite some time. So he's probably just like he'll dislocated it or whatever he's done, just bruised it bad. But yeah, going back to that, who gives a fuck?
No, who cares? I don't care whether they win, lose, or draw. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
this isn't. I'm not really bothered about them. I just worry about our own team, and got enough to worry about watching Spurs. Let alone worrying about whether Arsenal win or not.
But saying that, let's have a look at the Arsenal thing. Did you see the thing where they done the Eze mural?
Yeah, yeah.
That was bollocks. That poor sod spent a lot of time on that, and then for somebody just come and throw fucking paint over it. That's not what you want. You'd be pissed off if somebody done it over the Kane one or someone.
So, yeah, no, for sure. It's just that it's probably just some vandal trying to make a name for himself. To be honest with you, it's just one of them, and you've got idiots everywhere. But at the end of the day, like I said about him, he wants to go there. It's his boyhood club. It's his dream to play. It's like if someone said to you, you can go and play for Tottenham? It'd be like the world. I would, give up. You give up your left leg to do it, right? Because my left leg's worse than my right leg. So you'd give up you'd want to do it. So I get it, and I respect to him really. If he wants to play for him, then that's up to him. It's just a shame it came at our expense. We had to do all the work and everything. Yeah. But it is what it is. So David asked, is Bournemouth our biggest test so far, considering we lost every game before an international break? You're a cheery guy, aren't you, Dave?
Yeah, exactly. Dave.
Cheers, mate. That's cheery.
We do, though. We do that. The amount of times that I've seen Romero go missing, and a few other players go missing because they don't want to get hurt before the international break, that happens a lot. But that happens to every team, right?
Yeah.
Bournemouth, I see them play the other day. They are good. They're a good fucking team. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one. But you look at City. They are an excellent team, and we turn them over. Hopefully, with a crowd behind us or behind them, we shouldn't let them get away with too many shitty sort of pull-out tackles. As soon as you see it happen, just watch Romero. The second he pulls out of a tackle, we're in trouble. Because if he does, then he's looking at at the international break rather than Spurs. But a lot of them play for the country over club. So
yeah. I mean, for me, I just think is Bournemouth our biggest test? Yes, only because it's our next game, right? So once that game's over, it'll be the next game will be the big test. So I just I know it's an old cliche, you just have to take each game as it comes and decide, and see what happens. I'm trying not to get carried away with it all. I'd like to see us to keep a good winning run. Bournemouth is a team that we should beat. They're a good team. I'll give them that. A good team with some decent players and stuff in it. But they are a team that we should be able to beat. If all our players stay fit, if they're all still fit going through into the weekend, then there's no reason not to expect that our team should put out a decent performance against them. And if Frank gets his tactics right and nullifies any kind of benefits they might have or whatever, then why not? Why would we not expect to win? So I'm not sure we should really be fearing anybody, bar probably Arsenal, because that's going to be a difficult one because it always is. Chelsea, because we always lose at bloody against Chelsea, and Liverpool because the money they've invested and stuff after well, walking the league last year. You got to have them down as favourites. But
Yeah,
anybody else, anybody else, I don't think we should be fearing. To be honest, I think we should be kind of just giving it a go and see what
yeah.
happens.
We need to get
Night,
the Chelsea hoodoo off of her back because for some reason they every time we play them, we go. You walk in that ground and you can feel it. You even feel it as a fan going, "Oh, we never win here, never win it." And it's not so you're not going up, getting up for the game. So we should smash them. We
yeah.
should because they're not as good as the Chelseas of old, but they're still playing good football and they're still buying players left, right, and centre. And I don't know how to get away with it, but they seem to do
No,
it.
yeah. I mean, they're still not finished yet, are they? I mean, they're still. Xavi Simons is supposed to be going to them as well, and
Yeah,
so on. I've got a couple of last um, messages before we finish. So this is Nige being super helpful. So Sarr is off to the
yeah,
Africa Cup of Nations in January to play for Senegal, who are one of the better teams and likely to go all the way. We're going to miss him. So cheers for that, Nige. That's a really cheery view.
yeah,
But yeah, absolutely, we are gonna miss him when he goes off for that. But of course, it's like the Euros. All those players want to play for it, and fair play. They're going to want to do as well as they can. So you can't knock them. But on a positive note, because Nigel's always got a positive as well. He did say this: Leicester finished 17th in the league and won the league the following season. Just saying.
yeah.
Well done, Nige. We like that. We like that one. We didn't like the Pap Sar one, but we do like that one. That's a great one to kind of finish on. So I'm really pleased to see that. Just to have a quick look. Any more comments? What's this one say? Dave Campbell, last season we smashed City 4-0 away and finished 17th, so maybe need to give a few more games before we
Fuck off,
declare
Dave.
ourselves league winners. Dave, you've not been a Tottenham fan for long enough, mate. If
Get
that's how
Nige
you're
back on.
thinking, yeah, let's have Nige back. And just to say, Dave actually has a football shirt with his name on the back. How bad is that? And he's not.
No.
And it don't say Dave either. Anyway, listen, we managed to get through it, Dean. Just the two of us, just chatting away, just the two of us. So I think we've done really well there. So fair play. Thanks to everyone who's been in the stream watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the
Except Dave.
comments and stuff. Yeah, except Dave with that last one. That's not really helpful. So we're going to leave it there. As I say, always, please do give us a like because that helps the algorithm. If you don't subscribe to the channel and you're a Tottenham fan, please subscribe to the channel. That would be really helpful. Big thanks to Dean for turning up. A big two-fingered salute to Alex for working. I hope you're watching this and this is for you, Alex. And Mason, I hope you get lucky tonight on your anniversary. Good for you. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll leave it there. Up the Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.